Thanks to the supporters of channel member Robert Bannerman. Now, you might think that we spent quite a lot of money in the summer just gone, but there's one team that spent even more money than we did. Between us and Nottingham Forest, we spent over £100 million in the summer. This should be a championship slobber knocker. Hello and welcome to part 31 of Saving Man City. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have that big game away against Forest, and we also play Burnley as well, both, of course, in the Championship. Since you were last with me, we've won quite a lot of football matches. There is this one little blip, the defeat against Crystal Palace, which... it's not really, it's not explicable. Is that a thing people say? It's inexplicable that we lost against Palace. It was such a weird game. We were at home against a team who aren't even really a promotion rival, and they just beat us really comfortably. But then we went on to win every game comfortably after that. It's just one of those weird little blips that you get sometimes, just to make sure you can't have an invincible season, even though we'd already ballsed that up against Hull. But even with that defeat, we've continued to play very, very well. We are top of the league, 2 points ahead of Blackburn. A big gap now forming between us and Swansea. We should be a Premier League team by the end of this season. But as mentioned, Nottingham Forest spent even more money than we did in the summer. That is a stupendous transfer window for a Championship football club, and they should have the firepower to compete with us. They were in the Premier League last year. They've spent all that money. This should be a big game, even though they've not started the season particularly well. So let's go and beat them. I mean, it's as simple as that, really. Let's go and beat them. Now, this is the first episode I've recorded since my gallbladder surgery. Those of you who are not aware, I had that surgery, as you're watching this, nearly 2 weeks ago, but I recorded all the videos beforehand, so I haven't touched this save for about 2 weeks. I've just looked at that thinking, we signed Charlie Patino? When did that happen? I refamiliarised myself with the team. This 11 was picked before my surgery. It looks about right. We've got Trafford in goal, a back four of Norrington Davis and Bete, Hyam and Ferguson. Deli Bashiru at the base of the midfield with Fiorini and Patino ahead of him. Do we play Patino there? I feel like Patino should be deep and Fiorini... Clearly, Past Kev knows what he's doing. We're deferring to Past Kev today. We're going to start learning about this team again. You lot know more about this team than I do right now, because you were watching this episode. You were watching yesterday. I haven't seen it for 2 weeks. We've got Jones on the left, Farias on the right, and Liam Delap up front. Let's get this team submitted. Go and beat Forest. I hope we're not going to get punished by not having the game loaded for, like I say, nearly 2 weeks since I've opened Football Manager. Never mind this save. It's probably the longest, it's certainly the longest spell I've ever gone without playing FM24. That's not true. Is it true? I did go on holiday as well. We've had 2 pretty long spells of not playing Football Manager. That looks new. I mean, you're all going to tell me they've been in here for ages, but I don't remember seeing a massive office block in the corner of a stadium before. I can't imagine they would put something that looks that poorly rendered in the game. He's obviously been there for 20 years, but still looks interesting. Anna is clearly not used to me being back recording again yet. She's just sent me a bunch of text messages, so I paused thinking, oh, that must be important. A load of text messages back to back. The question was, what do you think a mountain chicken looks like? Let me know down in the comments section what you think a mountain chicken looks like, and we'll reveal it. And we're not going to reveal it. I mean, Google it if you. It's safe to Google at work. It's not pervy. It's also not something I needed to know whilst recording my first video in 2 weeks. But, well, you know, what are you going to do? We've just got 1-0 up against Forest, which is very nice. Why have we got our right winger on the far post for corners? Have we messed up our set piece instructions? Or I say, have we messed them up? Have they been messed up during the time when the game hasn't been loaded? I've just seen some of these players in this Forest team, by the way. It's a very interesting Forest 11 that they've managed to keep together. I'm assuming this must be their first relegation of the save. This must be the first time they've dropped down into the Championship, because they've still got Jesse Lingard in midfield. I think they've still got Brennan Johnson as well. There were a couple of other familiar faces. They've got Micah Beeriff up front, who, along with Liam Delap, who, of course, we have, is the other young English superstar Football Manager striker that has been a thing over the last 5 years or so. If you can't get Liam Delap, you get Micah Beerif. And if you can't get Micah Beerif, you get Liam Delap. So not only is it a battle of two teams that have got loads of money, it's the two best young English strikers in Football Manager. And neither of them have scored yet. Neither of them playing particularly well. But they've still got Lingard. They've still got Nico Williams, Brennan Johnson. They've got Mignolet in goal. This is an interesting championship level team for Forest. They should be doing better than they are in the league. And I mean, it's 1-1. That makes a lot of sense. This should be a tough away game for us. I'm not quite sure how they've started the season as poorly as they have, down in 10th place, but they've certainly started this match better than we have. And meanwhile, Blackburn are 5-1 up over Huddersfield in their game, which does put Blackburn to the top of the league as things stand. Blackburn, another recently relegated Premier League team, also very good. There's a lot of very good teams in this league this year, but what I would quite like to do is win this match and go back to the top of the league, please and thank you. Right, Fiorini playing out to Norrington Davies on the left-hand side. Now, Ricky J. Jones turns and runs. There's been a few people in the comments section suggesting Ricky J. Jones might be one of our weak links. I was about to prove you all wrong, and then he did that pass, but that little turn of pace is why I love to have him in the team. It's just a slightly different dimension, the fact that he can just turn and leave players for dead the way he did there. I don't really care about his end product. I just like seeing him run really fast. He causes chaos. In the network game last year, I would use Adama Traore in my Everton team just for that exact purpose, just to come on and run all over the place really fast and cause problems. We had better players at the team, but he was the only one we had who could cause the amount of chaos that he would cause when he came on. Right, we're making many substitutions here. Do we not have another spare fullback on the bench? That seems like a little bit of an oversight. We'll leave Ferguson on for now then. And I think we're going to take off Delap. Delap's had a really poor game. I forgot we had Marquinhos. We're going to bring on Ibrahim because he's a proper striker. But we've got... I'm talking about this Forest team being very good. We're a very good team. That rebuild that we did earlier in the week, with the greatest thumbnail in Football Manager YouTube history. But that rebuild really did the business on this team, didn't it? I'd quite like us to, win. Do we go to the 4-2-3-1? I think it's time. 4-2-3-1. We do that version of it, don't we? And we're going to take off Deli Bashiru, and we're going to bring on Marquinhos, and we're going to stick him over there. And yeah, this is what we're going to do. This is the business. And we've got one more substitution. We've got Mundle and I guess we have to take off Jones. Bring on Mundle, and he should be an inverted winger. And that is a completely different looking attack that hopefully in these 10 minutes that we've got left, we'll be able to get the breakthrough for us. We've gone more attacking. They've still got Gibbs White, and he's just sat on the bench for them. He's just come on for Jesse Lingard. What a strange championship this is. Wowzers. We very nearly managed to nick one there. I think it was Ibrahim who was trying to get there ahead of the Forest goalkeeper, and now it's Marquinhos on the right-hand side. He plays it back to Ferguson, who is running on fumes, but it doesn't matter because he's just scored an absolute screamer. My word, that was our right back, boys and girls. What a goal from Ferguson to hopefully put us back to the top of the championship, win this football match. This was stunning. Absolutely nobody tracking his run. They just let him keep going, and he just hits it really, really hard against one of the best goalkeepers to ever play in the championship, presumably. Oh my word, what a goal. And now Mundle playing it into Farias, who's trying to get in ahead of his marker but can't get there. Forest are trying to get something going, but we are on top of them, relentless. And Marquinhos channeling his inner Ricky J. Jones there with a very similar, just aimless diagonal pass forward that didn't really get anywhere. And now Johnson for Forest is going to try and grab an equaliser, but Ferguson has tracked him all the way from that left-hand side and intercepted. Good defensive work from Ferguson. Ferguson is having a blinding last 10 minutes of this game. He needs to run on empty all the time, and now Ibrahim is in. Oh, what a miss from Ibrahim. Goodness me. That was an absolute sitter, and somehow he's managed to miss. And this game is still alive. There's more than 2 minutes of added time left to play, and Forest are trying to get an attack going. We've got the ball all the way back to Trafford, and now Mbete out to Seko. Seko on the left-hand side, trying to show that he can do the fancy things that Ferguson can do on the other side. And now Mundle to Webster. Webster to Farias. Where is Seko gone? Seko was the furthest man forward for a minute there, and now Mundle trying to chase onto a through ball. It was another fairly aimless one now. And once again, Forest are on the attack, and they've got in behind Ferguson this time. And, I mean, offside, referee? No? You're just going to, not even going to have a look? Well, that was upsetting. Hopefully, we have a 94th minute winner here, Marquinhos, to hit the in-swinger. We are top of the league as things stand. I don't understand how that can be possible. Blackburn were like 5-1 up last time I looked, unless there's been a ridiculous turnaround in that game. Now we get to have a look after the final whistle has gone. So he was offside. And it has been Hang on! When the corner was taken, it was 2-2, right? And then the goal was disallowed afterwards. Football, ladies and gentlemen. We're top of the championship, still. What a weird thing that we've just seen. Well, we've only had a couple of days between the two matches, so we're going to do a big amount of rotation. We've got a lot of tired little legs, even in the ones that are coming into the team, but we're rotating most of the team from the last match out. You know, the logic. We're trying to keep everybody fit and also everybody happy. We've got a very big squad now. So it's Trafford in goal, a back four of De Gasperi, Mbete, Dorrington and Britton. Deli Bashiro stays in at the base of the midfield with Webster and McAtee ahead of him. Those two should probably be the other way around, actually. Yeah, we want them that way around. So Webster at the base of the midfield, Deli Bashiro, and then McAtee ahead of him. Philogene on the left, Marquinhos on the right, Ibrahim up front. So that's like 8 changes, I think, from the previous match. Hopefully, we demonstrate that we are good at doing a rotation, which I think, if I cast my mind back, certainly based on the number of appearances that everybody has made so far this season, it's pretty clear we've been doing some heavy rotation all season long. So clearly that was part of past Kev's thought process when putting together such a large squad. We wanted 20 players who were all good enough to get promoted from the championship, and I think we've probably got that. The key now, of course, is to keep them all happy, keep them all match fit, keep them all playing, and get to the point where we can just kind of use them interchangeably. Is that one of the Doyles in one of our Doyles in the Burnley team? I know Tommy Doyle has gone to Liverpool, so it's probably not him. It must be Colin Doyle at centre-back, who I think is another player that we did look at in the summer with a potential to bring him back. We would like to reunite that National League team. I mean, the dream, I think, reunite as many of the National League team as possible in the Premier League and just have them as a nice little mid-table Premier League team in a nice little Manchester City-owned ground with no big pile of debt. And, I mean, for those of us who are older than like 11 and remember the time before the money, that feels about right where Manchester City should be. A sort of mid-table-ish Premier League team feels about right for Manchester City. That's a lovely goal for Ibrahim, by the way. A lovely finish from him. Let's have a little look at that from the other angle. We've got Marquinhos picking the ball up there and Deli Bashiru, ball over the top. Ibrahim, one touch and absolutely thwacks it. How can it be the same man who is capable of doing that, yet in the previous match missed an absolute sitter? He is a bundle of contradictions, Ibrahim. He was here on loan last year, obviously here on loan again this year. I'm still not entirely sure about him. He should be an absolute world beater, but he is very, very inconsistent. And I mean, we saw the best of him there with a lovely finish. And now Burnley trying to get an immediate reply down our right-hand side. But Ibrahim is there to intercept. He clearly is enjoying having a moment in the team, especially after he didn't necessarily deserve it after what happened in that past match. 2 lovely pieces of defending from the front there from Ibrahim. And then a wonderful pass. pass. I mean, that was all wonderful work from Ibrahim, and Marquinhos probably owed him a better finish than he's delivered there. He had the pace to keep on running. He didn't need to be trying to lob the keeper from that far out. He could have just run that on and grabbed himself a goal and got an assist for Ibrahim, which he definitely deserved. Two lovely pieces of defending, a lovely pass. We've seen a lovely finish from him as well. Ibrahim is having a fantastic game for us today. After Liam Delap didn't play so well in the previous match, it does raise the question as to who our starting striker is going to be for the next few matches. I mean, Delap has already got double figures for the season, I think, in all competitions. Delap has been pretty consistent, certainly more consistent than Ibrahim, but on his day, I think Ibrahim is better, but isn't as consistent. And I guess it's trying to manage between the two of them which one of those two options we prefer, because Ibrahim on his day is a Premier League player. Liam Delap potentially never will be. Not to that kind of level anyway. I mean, we did spend a lot of money on him. He wants to be able to still play for us after a year. But whether or not, I don't necessarily imagine long-term Liam Delap would be the main man starting striker in the Premier League. I think he's got a very good chance of having a long Manchester City squad player career in the Premier League. And that's probably fine. But Ibrahim could go all the way to the very top if he can sort out his consistency. Di Gasperi plays it forward, looking for Ibrahim, who's got space to run into on this left-hand side. And here he goes again. Has he got options in the middle? He has, but he decides to play it back to Philogene, who's cut in from that left-hand side. And, I mean, I don't really know what's gone on there with the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper for Burnley is having a little bit of a nightmare today and somehow gets away with one when he probably didn't deserve to. But it's 1-0 to us at half-time. Burnley have been very poor. I don't remember seeing the option to do a half-time team talk there. So I don't know if I've double-clicked the button by mistake and skipped over it. We might have a bunch of demotivated players who've not had. I just didn't turn up at half time. I've gone off and had a pie. I've had my gallbladder out, and now I can eat pie again. So I'm off having pies at half time. And Ibrahim, he's very upset that he didn't get a half time team talk. He's just slid in like a madman. Luckily, it was such a poor attempt at a slide tackle that he didn't even make contact with man or ball. But we have immediately conceded an equaliser, and I think we've skipped the half-time team talk there inadvertently, and that could have consequences. Let's demand more. I'm back from my pie now. I've turned back up, and now we do need to. We do need to re-establish our dominance in this game. I don't know why Mbete is there, but he gets an assist and Philogene gets a goal. Answers on a postcard, boys and girls. Why is Mbete there? So it's a throw. Webster plays it into McAtee, and then our centre-back, I mean, he must have gone forward for the throw, but we don't have long throws or anything turned on. There's no reason for him to be forward for a throw-in. But there he was, and instrumental in putting us back ahead in this game. I'll take it. Right, we're going to bring Seko on at right back. I do remember from the distant past that he's a left footer, so he can be an inverted right back. We could have played him at left back. In fact, we were supposed to take both fullbacks off, that neither of them were fully fit to play the full match. And yeah, we made a mistake here. Are we going to go back? Are we going to do a mutant 3 at the back thing that we haven't done for ages? Because we could just do this. Play him. Can you do an inverted wide centre back? That's what I want to do, really. So actually, we want him to be the wide centre back. He can be covering. What's going on here? Somebody stop me, please. And then where are we going to put this spare man? I guess here. I mean, where else would you put him? We'll bring Farias on to go there. It's fine. What's the worst that can happen? It's not a million miles away from our Manchester City playing real life these days. Let me I'm going to take off Marquinhos as well. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. It's fine. What's the... Oh... Well, I was going to say what's the worst that can happen before I can even get the sentence out. It's a corner to Burnley. Luckily, we've managed to get it clear-ish. They are charging back into the area, but the shot is a wild one, and hopefully we aren't going to get punished for my tactical silliness. But we don't have any fullbacks. It's like the good old days. We've run out of fullbacks again. Webster to Farias, who is now a spare man for us going forward and has drawn the tackle. It was a lovely pass. I mean, that seems like a harsh straight red. He just kind of got in Hamilton's way. There must have been an elbow or something more to it than what we've just seen. But they've now had one of their fullbacks sent off, so it's evening up even more. Ricky J. Jones is going to come on now, and we're going to just shuffle and do that. And for the final change, we've got Delap or Hyam as options to come on. Neither of them really fit anywhere. I mean, I guess we can put Seko further forward and put Hyam in there like that, but we don't really want him to be the playmaker. We can make him the playmaker, and we'll do that. We really have done some tactical fiddling today. People sometimes say, Kev, why do you always just do the 4-3-3 and the 4-2-3-1? Kev, do something a little bit different. We want to see you experiment with tactics. Here you go. This is why I don't do it very often, because I'm not very good at it. It's a disaster. And Mbete heads the ball up just straight up in the air, really. And look at that, defensive chaos. Nobody knows the position they're supposed to be playing in. But James Trafford, our captain, our leader, is there to make an all-important save. Burnley are actually ahead of us on XG. They're going to be pretty miffed that they're coming away from this game with nothing so far. They've been better than us on XG. They've had a man harshly sent off. I've been playing silly nonsense tactics, and they're still going to lose. Our name is on this championship title this season, boys and girls. Oh, that's a poor clearance. It goes straight to Micah Hamilton, who just seems to be the man who's in the right place at the right time since he's come off the bench. He must be the spare man that we've got knocking around the place. There he is again. Lovely work from Hamilton. And now McAtee, who has had a very quiet episode. I know he didn't play in the first match, but for a man with spending as much money as we have on, a very quiet episode, but he's now won a penalty. This is the harshest outcome for Burnley possible. They don't deserve to have been beaten as comprehensively as they have been, because they're actually a decent side. But Farias has just hit an absolutely beautiful penalty. And I think what we've learnt today is we are a team that absolutely is going to be getting promoted. If we don't get promoted this season, it means I've done a massive balls up somewhere. And I'd like to think I don't have enough balls up in me to be able to mess up from this situation. I think we are closing in on the promised land. We look like a very good team. And now we are trying to make Burnley look very, very silly. Hamilton from range, and it goes over. But they're a little bit shell-shocked at this point. They've played well. They've created chances. They've largely kept us at bay and somehow still been comfortably beaten. And I think they justifiably have got a little bit frustrated and lost it a little bit towards the end of the game there. But importantly, we pick up the win. We maintain our spot at the top of the championship. Next stop is the January transfer window, where we don't need to be spending any money. And hopefully we can get by without losing any money, without losing any players either. Because if we can survive the January transfer window without having to make any sales, I am guaranteeing the Premier League off the back of that. I hope the board are listening. Don't sell anyone out from under me. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.